brought to you by Flagstaff, building better RVs, making smarter RVers.
Let's begin our educational segment, all a part of the RV Education Initiative. It's brought to you by the folks at Flagstaff Rockwood because they believe that smart RVers make for the happiest campers. So last week we talked about the two basic types of construction methods for RVs on travel trailers and towables. We talked about stick and tin, that's the corrugated side you see on a lot of these travel trailers. And then we talked about the laminated, the fiberglass, smooth-sided travel trailers and fifth wheels. Now, there are advantages and disadvantages to both, but generally speaking, the laminated RVs, especially the better built ones, have much fewer issues than do the stick and tin. But if you have a leak in a laminated RV, it can be a lot more expensive to repair. The bottom line, as I say, stick and tin is less expensive than laminated, but there are many reasons for that. A quality-built laminated trailer will last you for a long, long time if you do your preventative maintenance, which is required. Now, today, we're going to move from the subject of stick and tin versus laminated to the subject of roofs with the more you know, the happier camper you'll be.
The RV Show USA presents The More You Know, brought to you by Flagstaff, Rockwood, building better RVs, making smarter RVers.
When it comes to roofs, I hear all the time that the biggest problem that RVers have in general is water damage, and water always starts at the top and comes on down. Aren't all our RV roofs the same? I mean, are they all the same? Are they different? They all do the same thing. Tell me about RV roofs across the board in terms of manufacturers. Does everybody do the same thing? Do they not? And what do I need to know as a buyer?
That's an excellent question. The RV roof, just like you said, is one of the most important components. I mean, obviously it's keeping you dry, just like any roof would do, but there is different constructions. There's different methods. There's, again, in an entry-level product, you're going to see wood trusses through there with more insulation and then your decking, right? But I think the key aspect in a roof, right, I should tell you before I get into that the other side is a laminated roof. And there's not very many people that are doing a laminated roof. The company I work for, Rockwood and Flagstaff, we do use a laminated roof. And it's a solid roof. It's you can walk on it. It's, again, better insulated, but not as much movement. Now think about this. If you've got a roof and it's always flexing and always, the trailers are long, right? And that weight behind the axles can bounce, which causes the whole trailer to pull back and forth.
Right.
The more push and pull you get, the more chance you're going to have of some of those seals coming undone or coming away from, whether it's a vent or an air conditioner or a TV antenna, whatever's up on the roof. So the less movement, the better, right? Because less things that could happen over time. I live in Indiana. It's flat. And it's interesting to get behind a camper because we've got all kinds of shipping companies taking their units from A to B, right? And it's all over in this area. But with the flat ground, you can see a camper go over a railroad track, right? And you can see how much flex there is on a roof when that happens. And, again, that's something that's just a illustration that I think of when I think of the roof and how much bending and flexing that there is.
The thing about your RV's roof, the roof on your RV is going to flex. It is, as you hit bumps and chug holes, and as Steve said, some railroad tracks. And while they all look the same to the untrained eye, it's how the roof is constructed underneath that really matters. Aluminum, all welded, the better brands of RVs that have the all aluminum, welded, fiberglass, laminated roofs are much better than the ones that do not. They all look the same from the outside, but it's what's underneath that really matters. A lot of the El Cheapo RVs, to the casual observer, it's like, hey, they look the same to me, but I'm telling you that they are not. The one piece, as I said, all aluminum welded roof is a whole lot better, provide you with many, many more years of good service than an RV that is made up in RV roof that's made up in just separate sections. One other thing, when looking at a towable and you see a ladder on the back, I think that is that's a pretty good sign that the manufacturer is not afraid for you to get up on top of it and do those periodic roof inspections that are required by all manufacturers. Having access to get up to the top of your RV and on the roof is super important, and don't let anybody tell you any different.